Close Seth Meyers kicked off the 75th annual Golden Globes by addressing the elephant not in the room. Many other stars followed, calling out UAL harassment and inequality in Hollywood and beyond. USA Today: an army of fed-up Hollywood women, accompanied by increasingly chagrined Hollywood men, has proved they can turn the rowdiest awards show into an earnest declaration of female empowerment. Now what? Will Sunday night's Sirius at Last Golden Globe Awards be the template going forward during awards season, culminating in the Academy Awards on March 4 and, more important, will anything really change about Hollywood's historic lack of diversity, its gender gap in paychecks and, more recently, its multiplying UAL harassment and assault scandals? Maybe. But it's ironic that the first big bash of awards season, traditionally studied for what it might portend for the Oscars, is now also being analyzed for what it might say about the future of the entertainment industry more generally. Who would have predicted a year ago that the Hollywood Foreign Press Association's annual celebration of the best of movies and TV, a show where glitz and boozing traditionally triumphed over gravitas and sobriety, would turn out as it did for its 75th anniversary? Almost the entire red carpet parade and audience clad in black check. Host Seth Meyers striking the tricky balance between tackling a serious issue without harshing the fun check. "Good evening, ladies and remaining gentlemen," Meyers grinned as he opened his monologue of remarks that mixed scandal with inside industry allusions. "For the male stars in the room, this will be the first time in months that it won't be terrifying to hear your name read out loud." Meanwhile, gender and racial justice activists dressed to the nines and accompanied A-list stars to the festivities. That assured further attention for the female-led Me Too and Time's Up movements to call out abuse of women before and behind the Klieg lights and cameras, not to mention in a plethora of other industries. Once the show began, there were repeated mentions of empowerment and something must be done declarations in acceptance speeches, at least by the women. There were polite but pointed rebukes by some stars, as when presenter Natalie Portman introduced the nominees for Best Director, saying, "And here are the all-male nominees," and then there was Oprah Winfrey's galvanizing speech, interrupted by multiple standing ovations, as she accepted the Cecil B. DeMille Award for Lifetime Achievement, the first black woman to receive the honor. In her speech, hailed as compelling, moving and inspiring, she denounced racism and ism, spoke of her own life, and recalled the little-known story of Recy Taylor, a black woman abducted and raped by 6 white men in 1944, who died recently without ever seeing justice. More, minute-by-minute updates from the Golden Globe Awards list. All the Golden Globes winners. What I know for sure is that speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have. Each of us in this room are celebrated because of the stories that we tell, and this year we became the story," she said. "For too long, women have not been heard or believed if they dared to speak their truth to the power of those men. But their time is up. Their time is up." Instantly, Oprah 2020 began trending, even though Winfrey has repeatedly and firmly denied she has any interest in running for president. The mood of the night spilled over to the show's after-parties, which were noticeably more deflated and more sparsely attended than in years past. Viewers at home could be forgiven for their surprise at this year's unprecedented tone at the Globes, but 2017 was an unprecedented year in Hollywood. Already staggered by the previous 2 years of Oscar so white controversy about the lack of racial and ethnic diversity, the industry was then upended by the Harvey Weinstein scandal involving decades of alleged UAL misconduct. The toppling in October of the blustery, volatile producer, who dominated the Globes for decades, was accompanied by a tsunami of allegations of UAL harassment and assault that has helped fell scores of powerful men in Hollywood. Now all the old industry customs, patterns and rules, good and bad, have been thrown out and their replacements are still uncertain. So the annual sybaritic shindig that is the Golden Globes came at a moment when few in the industry know where they stand anymore and everyone is feeling their way to a new normal. Close stars weren't asked who they were wearing, but why. A movement called Time's Up swept the carpet as stars donned black outfits to stand in solidarity. USA Today: the tone was set even before the show started, when the majority of stars, including men, paraded the red carpet in black here and there with a splash of color trim, in a pre-planned sign of solidarity for gender equality and for the accusers in the UAL harassment scandals. It made for an interesting look in place of what has usually been a riot of color at the Globes. Best dressed at the Globes, Tracee Ellis Ross, Claire Foy and Mauru feel sort of emboldened in this particular moment to stand together in a thick black line dividing then from now. Nominee Meryl Streep, The Post told E! Network's Ryan Seacrest. Stars such as Streep, Michelle Williams, Emma Watson and Amy Poehler brought gender and racial justice activists as their guests, from such organizations as the National Domestic Workers Alliance, the MeToo movement, a black feminist organization called IMCAN, and the Restaurant Opportunities Centers United, which represents women in the industry with the highest rate of UAL harassment. Meryl Streep and I-Jen Poo, head of the National Domestic Workers Alliance, arrive at the Golden Globe Awards in Beverly Hills. Photo, Valerie Macon, AFP, Getty Images. Adding to the more serious tone of the event was more intense security than usual. When one USA Today reporter arrived via lift, the car's trunk, glove compartment, and undercarriage were inspected, and a canine unit sniffed around the vehicle. Then there was first-time host Meyers, who nightly trounces President Trump with political jokes on Late Night with Seth Meyers. On Sunday night, not so much. Instead, he tackled the scandals head-on. Review: Seth Meyers is almost perfect on an off-key Golden Globes night early on. He called out the disgraced Weinstein, the elephant not in the room. Don't worry, he'll be back in 20 years when he becomes the first person to be booed at the annual In Memoriam, said Meyers, earning groans from the audience. It will like that, he responded. Backstage, each actor and actress was asked about the controversy. There was no missing the almost grim determination of many female stars to declare where they stand and what they want from the industry. After winning Best Actress in a TV drama series, Elizabeth Moss urged greater involvement for women on both sides of the camera. We want to tell stories that reflect our lives back at us. Photo, Paul Drinkwater, App. Elizabeth Moss, who won the Globe for Best Actress in a TV drama series, The Relevant Again The Handmaid's Tale, talked backstage about the need for more women to be involved in front of and behind the camera. We want to tell stories that reflect our lives back at us. Many women go to the movies and TV, she said, pointing to the profitability of such projects. It's important to have as many women behind the camera as possible. Nicole Kidman and Laura Dern, the stars of Big Little Lies who swept their Golden Globes acting categories, used their acceptance speeches to declare the power of women to speak out against harassment and intimidation. Many of us were taught not to tattle, said Dern, whose character struggles with her daughter's bullying. It was a culture of silence and that was normalized. May we teach our children that speaking out without the fear of retribution is our culture's new North Star. Kidman, who plays a woman trapped in an abusive marriage, said her character represents something that is the center of our conversation right now: abuse. I do believe and I hope that we can elicit change through the stories we tell and the way we tell them. The stars of Little Big Lies, Nicole Kidman, Zoe Kravitz, Reese Witherspoon, Laura Dern and Shailene Woodley, celebrate their show's wins at a Golden Globe Awards after party. Photo, Frederick M. Brown, Getty Images. Frances McDormand won for Best Performance by an Actress in a Drama for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. She said she usually keeps her politics to herself, but it was really great to be in this room tonight and to be a part in a tectonic shift in our industry power structure, she said. Trust me, the women in this room are not here for the food. We're here for the work. Portman's remark about the all-male director nominees the prize went Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water suggested she might have read the latest University of Southern California survey on directors, released a few days before the Globes. It revealed no meaningful or sustained change in 2017 for female, Black and Asian directors. The doors to Hollywood have remained mostly closed since 2007, concluded the report by the USC Annenberg Inclusion Initiative. Deborah Messing unloaded on E!'s Giuliana Rancic, alleging that the network discriminates by gender when it comes to paying co-hosts. Photo, Valerie Macon, AFP, Getty Images. Deborah Messing directly called out E! for alleged gender discrimination in pay for co-hosts. In an on-camera interview with E!'s Giuliana Rancic, "Time is up," Messing said. "We want diversity and we want intersectional gender parity. We want equal pay. And that's something that can change tomorrow." Hundreds of women in entertainment are so fed up with the lack of diversity and parity that last week they unveiled Time's Up, a well-funded initiative dedicated to confronting abuse of power and promoting workplace equality in their own and other industries. Messing said she wore black to honor the brave whistleblowers who came forward and shared their stories of harassment and assault and discrimination. She said, "I'm wearing black to stand in solidarity with my sisters all over the globe, and I'm here to celebrate the rollout of this incredible initiative." The activists and advocates who accompanied the stars say they've been inspired by the effort. They hope by attending the Globes they can help shift focus away from the perpetrators of UAL misconduct and back to survivors, and create lasting change. I hope people see the momentum and the energy of the movement, said Ai-jen Poo, head of the National Domestic Workers Alliance, who was Streep's guest and held hands with America's Most Honored Actress while being interviewed by Seacrest. Said Streep, people are aware now of a power imbalance, said Streep, nominated for her role as publisher Katharine Graham in The Post. Contributing, Carly Mallenbaum, Andrea Mandel and Brian Alexander in Los Angeles. Reader, share this story. https://usat.ly/2cmowix